Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and it's time for another full body workout. So if you guys will please drop me a like, a follow, and a comment down below, I would appreciate that. Let's get over to it. So kind of what I did last time, I kind of hit my dad bod strength standards, but I'm like, I really like doing this. I like coming in and hitting some heavy singles, especially if I think about my powerlifting background and then combining with the old school training. And I want to maintain that dad bod strength standard. You know, I want to make sure I can continue to do that no matter what happens on the cut. So I'm like, let's start with it and then go up from there. So my goal was to hit that, the 315, 405, 500 for a single on the big three, and then to go up to whatever a comfortable training max was. So I'm like, let's just come in, just casually doing this stuff. These are not psyched up. The sun isn't even up yet. It's like early. I'm just like, let's just come in and hit some decent singles. So I did 425 here. And I honestly, if you guys remember, I did the Bulgarian training. I did nothing but squat singles and got back to a 500 squat at one time. So again, here I'm just like, let's just get a nice deep one. Let's go at 425. It wasn't a true max. It wasn't grindy. That's the interesting thing, guys. I did 4.5 hours of fasted list yesterday and came in and did that. So it felt good. Felt really good. It wasn't hard. So it's like, that's the interesting thing. My squat strength is still decent. How crazy would it be if I get down to the 190 and then all of a sudden can hit 500 again? So the bench, I'm like, let's just do the dad bod thing. So I didn't pause that one really long. I just did a 315. I knew it wasn't a max. So I'm like, okay, we'll just hit our quick dad bod one. I figure it's a good point to do the side chest. Let's test it, see how everything looks. I'll get some pictures. I'm going to keep doing those because I feel like they show where I'm at. They give us a really, really good idea of where I'm at with my frame underneath the fat. And then I'm like, so let's go up another 10 pounds. I'm like, I can do 325 with a long pause. I know it won't be a max. It'll be a good training max though. And that's the point. We're going to get that solid carryover and effect to still being strong, and it'll give carryover to the rep work. So I wanted to hold it at least 2 seconds, did it flat back, right? We did a nice flat back, no real leg drive, might have been a hair, no wrist wraps, no belt, nice clean 325. So the same thing on the deadlift, and I'm just using the stiff bar. I'm like, I'm not even using the deadlift bar. It's actually easier for me not to. It's just faster. I want these workouts to I just want to get them done. It's like, get in, get the work in, stay in my flow. Notice I didn't even put clamps on the bar. I'm just like, But we don't have to. The stiff bar doesn't flex, so the plates don't slide off the same. So I did a quick 500. It felt nice and easy. I'm like, let's do a nice quick 525. Of course, it was a little slow, but it didn't feel that heavy, but it still was a little slow. Held it at the top, set it down under control, and then we went over, and it's like, all right, I do want to do some reverse hypers. So I want to make sure I keep reverse hypers in the mix a little bit. That's thing, and someone else pointed that out in the live. They're like, if you're going to squat and deadlift 3 days a week, you definitely need to stay on that. But I'm like, yeah, I'm already on it, dudes. We're on it. So you guys notice I did it immediately. I didn't even unload the deadlift bar yet. So I'm trying to mix all this stuff between, get it all in flow, just keep the nice steady flow of the workout going. Was happy with all that. It's like it all felt good. It wasn't true maxes, so we ended up 425, 325, 525. Yes, nice round numbers. So everything we went, 10 to 25 pounds over the dad bod strength standard as a second rep on everything, and none of them were true maxes. Obviously, none of them were true maxes. And so finished up with some reverse hypers after that, and then we go into all the upper body rep work. All right, so for the dips, I wanted to try a different angle. I'm like, let me put it over here. And I didn't like this angle as much, so I went ahead and did my normal. So you guys notice on the dips what I'm doing. I'm trying to go as deep as possible. I'm trying to go as deep as humanly possible. And I thought about working some extensions back in, and I still might. I'm going to debate on it. I almost wonder if it wouldn't be a bad idea just for the extra tricep, but I feel like I'm doing dips and pullovers. What more do we really need? All right, what more is really going to help at this point? I feel like I just need more bicep than anything. But the dips are going really well. You guys notice that I start out of the bottom. I do a dead start out of the deepest stretch is the way I've gone over to doing them now, because again, it's going to limit and it's going to set the tone for the rest of the set, because I feel like the deep dips is where I'm going to get my real chest and tricep size, right? It's where we're going to get the real size. Of course, we did some pullovers. I only did one set of pullovers today. I feel like I need them. I'm tempted, though, to work those laying extensions back in that I do with the pullover type effect. I don't know why I'm tempted to do so. I got really strong at them, and I don't feel like they did as much for my triceps as dips really do, honestly. So I feel almost like the dips is really where I need to live. But I was tempted to, but I did a set of pullovers anyways. So on these, we did our 3 sets of 10, which is right at failure, right? I always try to pause a little bit. As I know I'm getting real close to failure, I start pausing more at the bottom to make sure I kind of end up failing around the rep I want. Stuff you can do a little bit with tempos, especially something like this, a movement where a deep stretch, that pause will really create extra fatigue near the end, right? So that's what I do there. And then obviously after that, I've hit failure. I can't do another rep out of the bottom once I've done that again. But we start in that position also. We start there also. So then also here, doing the pull-ups. When I think about the shoulder health and my ability to overhead press again, right? Because I do know that I want to be able to overhead press again eventually. I feel like this exercise is going to be the best carryover. So I really need to do this closer grip pull-up because, again, it puts me into those positions and it allows me to pretty much lock over my head, pretty similar to an overhead press, right? That I can't normally get my arms into that. So I'm hoping these will help restore the range of motion. I've also been doing more band pull-aparts in a supine position. I noticed it was easier to get under the squat today. So I feel like those are starting to pay off. So I did these to failure, right? I'm trying to get my chin over the bar. I almost need to go a hair closer. So again, trying to take these to the longest range of motion that I possibly can. So again, notice when I overhead press, that's pretty much where the bar goes to when it sinks. So what I'm doing with all this is trying to take all these movements to the longest range of motion my joints will allow for. So I'm picking grips and stuff to do that. But pull-ups just work amazingly well for me. They work well for building my back. And they're just an all-around good exercise. And like I said, I've been torn a little between chins and pull-ups, but I'm like, I can just do curls. I just feel like for me, for the shoulder health and the back development, the pull-up is just a better option. And the final one, I took it to failure. Then I did a rest pause. I'm like, I bet you I can get another rep. So I kind of got there. I went to do a rep and I couldn't. I'm like, let's rest a couple seconds, do a rest pause, come back up, and let's just force out one more rep. And we did. So I got one more. Just, again, one more. Get that extra. But the back is still wide. So then pullovers, I only did the 1 set today. Like this 90 pounds is hard, especially if I start pausing the reps. I did the 1 set. I'm like, you know what, that's plenty. We got the extra tricep work. Keeping in mind, setting aside the heavy benching singles, which I think do cause some growth. I'm doing 9 sets of weighted dips to failure every week. That's a lot of chest and tricep work. That is a lot, all things considered. So when I'm looking at the dips, I don't always have to come in and try to do tons of sets, but I do like to get 1 set in. I'm also torn with, should I consider just replacing this with an extension? I'm always torn on that, but I feel like I want these workouts to be relatively brief. And I also have to keep in mind, I'm probably not going to gain a lot of muscle, guys. I am cutting. We're doing a lot of cardio, but we also need to make sure that we maintain. And I do like the dips for the benefits we get from them, the extra shoulder stuff. I also said, let's try to do another little side chest here. So I have a little bit of extra footage. Hit in a little bit of vacuum first, which I've been doing vacuums every morning. So I feel like the pullovers plus the vacuums are a big deal. That's the thing that stops me from messing with an extension. I'm like, the pullover still works that tricep long head really well. It still adds a great addition to the upper body, but I also want to be really proficient at vacuums as I get leaner and leaner. Because as we lose visceral fat and stuff also, I want to be able to really suck that gut in on certain poses. If I want to have that classic look, we need to do that. All right, curls, I just took the curls to failure. I'm like, let's just do some strict barbell curls. I'd said last time I wish I had done strict instead of easy bar. Like, let's just do the straight bar. Let's just take the sets to failure. And notice we're not swinging and cheating. So people are like, failure should be also, people want you to grind crazy stuff on failure. That's not what failure is. Failure means, can we maintain pretty good form and the weight just stops. So on these, it's like I took them to a rep. You guys can tell though I'm struggling on the rep before failure. You see the eccentric slow down. My face expression changes. That last rep is hard. It's definitely hard each time. So what I'm doing with that is taking it right there to failure, and then so you can tell that when I'm working hard and that rep is really hard, and then I can't do another. So we just took all of these to just momentary muscle failure because I want to push curls hard. I want to push curls really hard. I know that my biceps need to come up. They have to come up even as I get leaner. You know, if I can get down to 190 or 185, nice and lean, 10% or lower body fat, realistically, what's the best thing I could do for my physique from there? Be to put an inch on my arms. So I want to just keep doing the bicep work now in spite of it having historically been a weak link, and let's just keep hammering it, right? Because a much leaner Blaha, a much leaner ripped Blaha with more arm, right? No one can hate on me anymore. You can't hate on that. So it needs to be the goal. So we're just going to push biceps, biceps, biceps. And always these bands. The bands, I always kind of get that crazy pump going, right? I just get a ridiculous pump. One reason I like the bands. Plus, they're great for the tendons. That's the other thing, too. You know, I have to think about if I'm going to do all that deadlifting, right? We're going to do all the pull-ups. I need to keep those tendons healthy. So even on this, I've had people say, well, there's not adding any muscle. Well, whatever. It's still a good active pump, gets more blood flow there, and it will help with the tendons. Because if I'm going to keep pushing curls and keep pushing all that stuff really aggressively to failure, we need to keep the tendons healthy. So yes, making sure we do stuff like this for the bicep tendons, and the blood flow is not a bad thing. And usually weak points you have, oftentimes there is a blood flow issue to that weak point. So I want to just double down on all that with the biceps. So yeah, I'm going to turn into a cardio and curl guy in a lot of ways. But yeah, so then afterwards I did sled work. I'll get the footage up for that later for you guys too. So I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.